we are so happy that she has actually been able to get away from her super busy schedule. Well, not exactly run away from it. She's still got huge amounts of communications that she's dealing with, but she's with us in person. So please welcome Ruth Reichstein.
Thank you, Michela. Hi to everyone. Indeed, I need this on time. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me and thanks for organizing this amazing event. I'm really thrilled, as I just tweeted to be here at CERN. Yeah, I think it's really a very interesting opportunity, to make the European Bauhaus world lead the CERN world. I have a quote. It's not COVID. I tested 3 times, but I just say that because my brain goes slower than usual. So sorry if I don't have the same energy that I might normally have. So all this said, I will not give you a kind of lecture on the European Bauhaus because I think most people in the room know by now what the NEB is or might be or should be. But I will still get back a bit to the starting point, but then I will focus on where we are at the moment, what are the main projects, and obviously also already a bit develop of the NEB Academy, as there's one of our main topics of at least of today and tomorrow. Voilà, so what you see here is a bit the basis, and I still remember when we started this whole experiment with a very small group at the beginning. I think there were 3 in the commission, when the president had announced this European Bauhaus, and nobody knew what that should be. And we started to think about it, and then one of the colleagues came out with this slogan, sustainable, beautiful together. And I mean, we really didn't know if that would work. I think by now it has proven that it does work, and that it's really the combination of the 3 values that makes the European Bauhaus different from a lot of other projects. And so this is still at the basis of everything that we are doing. These are all things that most of you know, I will just not go too much into it. If there is anybody who still has questions on the basis of the NEB Bauhaus, I'm happy to answer them, and I think most of you in the audience can do that better than I can do. So what I want to do is to go a bit through the main pillars of the European Bauhaus, and also to say what is actually most important for us. And in the center, it is really the community. And the event today is another example for this community, which brings together so many different people from so many different disciplines, backgrounds, and with so many different interests. But in a way, everybody finds his or her place in the European Bauhaus. Here we just see 2 of the more, let's say, formal examples of our community. One is the Hard Round Table, where Michela is also a member. I think that was the meeting that we had a year ago or so, just after COVID. You went on there?
Yeah, sick.
Voilà. That's why Michela is not on the picture. But that is really for us a very important body, and still advising a lot on where the journey goes. And what is very nice as well is that more and more members of the round table have now also in their, let's say, own project. So for example, we have one architect from Germany, Pia Meyer-Schrieber, who is very much interested in this question of what does actually beauty mean for the European Bauhaus, and how can we implement that in our projects, especially buildings, but also beyond. And she now brought together a group of people, also from not from the Hard Round Table, but from outside, and they are working on it and will come up with a kind of report this year. And these kind of things we encourage very much. Francesca Pia is about preparing the next European Bauhaus Festival. So all these kind of examples. Here you had an image from the first meeting of the national contact points. Also very important for us. So these are people that are in charge of the European Bauhaus in the member states, very often located in ministries, but sometimes it can also be NGOs or others who have been mandated to be our contact points. And they are obviously very important for us because they are in the member states and can disseminate information, but can also give us very important feedback. So here you have a kind of overview of the community. The figures are probably already outdated again because it's really moving every day. And for us, it's really a very good sign as well that the call for partners has been opened just after we had launched the initiative. And it's not as we had feared in a way that in the beginning there would be a very high interest that it would go like this. But it's still continuing, and we still have more and more partners applying Geneva every day. Maybe we can just do the test here in the room. Who is a partner of the European Bauhaus? Voilà, so you have some of them here as well. And we have obviously here from the Highlight Roundtable. Do we have any prize winners in the room? No. National Contact Points, I think not really. And then Friends is still rather new, so these are companies and local authorities that have joined now as well. And then obviously we have also all the people who have been benefiting from our calls, like the Lighthouse demonstrators. And there I think we should have some ends, right? Voilà. So yeah, and obviously we cannot do anything without you. And we are really very happy that this community is growing, and we just had a priority discussion on the political level in the Commission, and we came to the conclusion that for this and next year, the main priorities of the NEB is really activating the community more, in a way taking better care of you and making sure that you really can connect with each other, that you can really work on projects together, and then also to raise even further the awareness of the NEB. So this is just an example. It could be any country, but here you can see a bit. I mean, we can indeed do that for every member states. Obviously, in some member states, there will be less or more projects than in Portugal. But I think that gives you a really good idea then how it can look in a member state. Portugal is one of the more active countries on all levels, so that is really nice. But the nice thing is also that by now, we really have NEB activity in all member states. And you can also now, the website of the European Bauhaus, have a map with a lot of dots, and you can click on the dots and see what is happening there. Yeah. Okay, so then this is probably the place where we would like to have most of the NEB activities, the NEB Lab. And why I say we would like to is because it's not functioning yet as much as we would love to. In the NEB Lab, which is basically only a working platform for so far, you have the projects that are piloted by the Commission, so by ourselves. This goes for the funding for the Leyen strategy and for Ukraine, and then also for the transformation of places of fluidity and the regulation. And then you have the projects that are community-driven, and there you have the 3 here on that side. We also have one Mati from the Nordic Bauhaus present today. I think Jose Pedro will join later, but I don't see him yet from the other. I mean, one of the problems is, and I think it was Mar saying, Mean Cities is not a funding machine, but same goes a little bit for the NEB as well. We have our calls, but it's not, I mean, as the NEB has not an own program yet, we cannot, for example, fund for now the community-based programs or projects in the lab, which is indeed a bit of a problem because, I mean, obviously organizations, countries can have their own needs, but we also see that that is something that we still have to improve, but we are looking into that for now. I will not go so much into the different areas of work in the lab. I mean, we can do that later as well. But what I want to mention is like a bit the first product that came out of the labeling strategy. From the start, when we started as the NEB, a lot of questions and also, let's say, asks, especially from the European Parliament, where, yeah, what are the criteria actually for a European Bauhaus project? How can I now, with my project, is NEBish, as it was said before? And at the moment, colleagues are developing like the criteria, for example, for built environment. So what does a building need to be a European Bauhaus building. But as long as we are not there yet, because it takes some time, we have the compass. Compass is really a first assessment tool where you all can take your project, take the compass. There are guided questions for the different criteria and dimensions, like for example for sustainability, but also for participation. And with the help of these questions, you can see how nebbish the project is. So these are the things that are analyzed in a way at the compass, and it's rather easy, I find, at least, to do. You have always 3 levels, so you can check if you have a basic level of sustainable NEB, or you have an advanced level or an excellent level, and that goes for all the principles and for all the values. Voilà. Then just to finish on what else is the European Bauhaus? This you might remember, at least some of you, was the first festival that we organized last year. It might seem that it's just an event, but for us it was very important because we tried to do something which is not really looking like an event of the European Commission. Also, the content was not really what we do normally at the European Commission. And it was really great to see that, especially in the city center of Brussels, we had so many citizens who normally never interact with the European Commission or with any European politics stuff, who came and who just enjoyed the dance, the painting, whatsoever on scene, but then also got interested in the topic and stayed for the political discussions. So we will do a next edition, which will be in April 2024. So we decided to have the festival every 2 years, normally in June. But as 2024 is election year for the European Parliament, we had to advance it a bit. So it might be rainy, but we will manage. So this will again happen at Brussels in April 2024. And all of you are very much invited to participate, to have your side events, and to go or to join in Brussels, because we normally go out like in May, I would say, to see where the interests are. And to make you not to wait too long, this year we will have in May an event at the Biennale, and the Architecture Biennale in Venice. So for the first time then we'll go to Venice. It's actually the first time that the European Union ever participates in the Biennale in Venice. So we are very happy about that. Some of you are also implicated there. So this year our main event will be in Venice, and the next year again the festival. I'm slowly coming to the end. This is also something that a lot of you know already. Every year we have our European Bauhaus prizes. This year edition has a special focus on education and knowledge. And the award ceremony will be in June. The call has just closed, so we got again a lot of applications, and the jury will now first select the finalists and then the winners that will be awarded in June. So just very quickly also on the lighthouse demonstrators, I mean, some of you know much more about it than I do. Here you have the 6 projects that have been selected under the first call for lighthouse demonstrators. We are now currently selecting the 2nd generation of lighthouse demonstrators, which should normally also be awarded around June. And then we continue. This year we will have the next call, and also in 2024, so that we know already. So normally that by 2024 we have these 6, then we will select 10 this year, and then another 5 this year and next year. So that will bring us to normally around 26 lighthouse demonstrators by the end of the mandate. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow morning. I hope I can still be here to hear a bit more about what you are actually doing in your projects. This I just want to mention also because we had been discussing with Ma, you know, how an institution we can also implement NEB principles ourselves. The European Commission has decided to have at least one building that is completely NEB. This is in Sevilla. It's a site from the Joint Research Center where also the NEB team sits. I mean, they don't sit in Sevilla but they sit the same directorate. And that has been awarded last year, and we are very happy to let the building will start very soon. And what is interesting about this building is that it's not only about sustainability, but it's again also about being open to the whole society. So there are a lot of spaces, which is normally not the case at commercial buildings, but there's a lot of space where like citizens can walk in and out, and there can be interactions between the researchers and citizens and stuff. So that was also be something that was really important when they did the competition. Why did I put CERN in Brussels? Because we have a big part very close to the European institutions in Brussels, the Saint-Cantonaire, and Belgium is currently looking at completely, to redo this park for 2030, and they have offered to the Commission to also have one, be it a building or something else in this park. And so we decided to also have this under the European Bauhaus umbrella, and there will be an architecture competition launched still in March, so very soon, for young architects to come up with ideas. And as I said, it doesn't need to be a building, it can also be any kind of installation or whatsoever, because we don't want to do more concrete or steel at the park, but this is something that we are very much looking forward to. Voilà. And last but not least, now quickly on the NEB on the NEB Academy. The idea was launched last November by the president at the Bauhaus Into the Woods, the event in Helsinki, and I think Matti will talk more about that later. It is really based on the fact that from the start of the European Bauhaus, when we started this the co-design phase, we got so much feedback that people told us, well, if you really want to, transform the construction sector and have more sustainable construction, skills is one of the biggest problems. And skills on many different levels. So be it more the knowledge level, how to build with wood or clay or whatsoever, but also that really on the skills level that the people need to know how to build with it. And this is something that we would like to try to address with the NEB Academy. We are now really starting to look into how to organize it and what would be the first modules that we would suggest. And this is why we are very happy that we can also have the different brainstormings with you today, because also the Academy as the whole NEB is meant to be created in a kind of co-creation process. What I can tell you already is that there will be a first hub in Slovenia, and we have the University of Primorska that offered to build the first hub of the NEB Academy, and we will be there next week, Monday, Tuesday, with a group of experts as well to discuss further. Michela will be there, namely to also bring in what we have discussed here, and we have also Anna from Renew, who is one of the research institutes over there, who is in the lead, who is here today at tutorial, who would obviously also be in Slovenia. And our idea would be to have this first hub, but also to obviously open it up to any institution in other member states who says, okay, I'm happy to also create a hub under the criteria that we need to set up, obviously. The thing is that from our side, at the beginning, we cannot offer any funding for this. So that means that any organization, be it a university or a training institute or whatsoever, would need to build up the structures themselves. And that is why I said we are grateful to the Slovenians that they took the first step. But there might be some funding later, and I can tell you more about this at the later stages if there is interest. For now, we mentioned that we would have on and offline trainings. So maybe for the offline trainings, first where we focus on train the trainers that then can go to the different member states to bring the trainings and the knowledge there where it's needed, but obviously also to have an online platform where we can do courses, but where we can also just put material where people can go and get it. One of the biggest challenges I would say, and we have, is how do we really get the content to the people that we want to reach? So how we will begin to the big construction companies, that how can we get to those where people that we want to target? So this is one question that if you have any creative ideas today or tomorrow, we would be very happy to get your input, but obviously also on where should we focus first topic-wise, governance structure, whatever else that you might want to discuss. Well, so I think I'll stop here for now. As I said, very happy to be here. Thanks again to CERN IdeaSquare that we can be here today, to Michela for the organization and the preparation, and to all of you for being here today and giving your brains to develop the European Bauhaus. Thank you.
Thank you,